Hey, welcome back to the show. Today's episode is AI for restaurants. What's important? What's happening? How restaurants are using AI and how it can increase profits, increase efficiencies in your business. Now, I don't need to tell you, technology is moving at light speed, and there's so much tech out there, and it can be overwhelming and intimidating and all those things. But I'm going to demystify the key areas that you can use AI in your restaurant and how it can help you improve your operation. What if your POS did more than ring up orders? What if it actually ran your restaurant? Touch Bistro is an all-in-one cloud-based POS and restaurant management system designed exclusively for restaurants. They help you run smarter, faster, and more profitably. Touch Bistro brings front of house, back of house, and guest engagement into one easy platform. From patented bill splitting and real-time inventory to labor, profit tracking, loyalty, online ordering, and reservations. It's all connected. Touch Bistro is built for restaurants and built to perform. For operators listening in the US or Canada, Touch Bistro is helping restaurants get started for less with savings on upfront costs for a limited time. Terms and conditions apply. Head to touchbistro.com/restaurant rockstars for more details and see how much you can save. Smithfield Culinary is dedicated to providing restaurants with the right protein for every plate and every day part. They understand that for meat lovers, enjoying a favorite cut is more than a meal, it's a memorable experience. Discover Smithfield's new ready-to-eat select bacon, designed to save chefs time with no mess left behind and no crumbs left on the plate. Or try their new ground chorizo, packed with bold, smoky flavor that brings the heat to any dish. Look to Smithfield for one of the most extensive pork portfolios available, including bacon, ham, sausage, and more, all your favorites. When you partner with Smithfield, you serve the food you love, and your guests will love what you serve. I've tasted Smithfield products at numerous restaurant shows, and they're consistently excellent and always delicious. For orders or additional information, visit smithfieldculinary.com/Smithfield. First, let's talk about what AI is. AI is artificial intelligence, of course, and that's basically systems that learn from data to automate tasks and decisions. That's a very simple definition. AI is something that learns over time how you do business and what your practices are and how you can improve those practices. And the more you use AI, the more it learns your business. It's like having a chief operating officer in the cloud or in space that just literally helps you improve your business. Now, I'm going to give you a list of all the software that'll help you accomplish any of the pain points or challenges that you're having in your restaurant today. I'm going to give you an overview in this presentation, but if you email me, Roger, R-O-G-E-R, at restaurantrockstars.com, I will send you a summary compilation. Not only will it break down what this software does in detail, it's also going to give you the metrics. What are the efficiencies? What are the cost savings? What are the increases in profit that you can get in your restaurant from using this software? So I've kind of done the homework for you. I've vetted these things. I believe in them. I'll give you websites, but again, email me for the complete detail. But here's an overview. All right, so we just defined what AI is. So why does AI matter? Many, many reasons. How is it going to solve your biggest pain points? Rising labor costs, staff shortages, shrinking margins, lack of systems and efficiencies in so many restaurants. When I consult and I go into an operation, I ask them about their systems. And most of the time, these owners are running by the seat of their pants and they don't really have the systems dialed. They don't have teams that run the place for them so that they don't have to be there. They don't empower people. Things are inefficient. And that's why margins are so low. It's just one of the reasons why margins are so low right now. Before the pandemic, they said your restaurant, and I know I've said this before, but they said that before the pandemic, your restaurant was doing well if you could wring a 10 to 12% profit on sales. And essentially, what does that mean? That means for every $1 of sales, 10 to 12 cents was your profit. Now, that doesn't sound like much then, and it wasn't, but now margins are literally in the 5 to 8% range, and there's a whole lot of operators on the verge of disaster because prices keep rising. We're paying the highest labor costs ever in restaurants, and lots of restaurants aren't costing out their menus, and they're not maximizing their profit. They're not controlling their costs. These are some of the things that AI can do for you. Okay, competition is tougher than it's ever been, okay? AI is here. It's now, and it's certainly the future. So let's dive a little deeper. So how are restaurants using AI? 4 ways. 1, inventory management. 2, menu engineering. 3, staff scheduling. And 4, a biggie, marketing, of course. All right. Those are the biggest ways. So we're going to dive into each of those in a little bit more detail. So let's talk about inventory management, the current pain points, accuracy, time consuming, honesty, and trust. Now, we went back 20 years ago, I started my first restaurant. And for the first couple of years, we're doing inventory the old school way. I had a spreadsheet. I had all my items laid out. And I had chefs. I thought I needed a chef back then when I really needed a solid kitchen manager. Okay. And I had some chefs. I had 2 really great chefs that knew how to cost menus and knew how to do things. I had one that didn't need to make any money for the past restaurant that he worked for. So he came in, he created amazing food. Don't get me wrong, but he couldn't cost out a menu to save his life. And he padded his inventory to make his cost of goods seem better. Okay. And I caught him on this. So that was the old school way. And now things have been replaced. Okay. Now things are so much more accurate. So what are some of the wins for inventory? You can automate your ordering process and calculate your cost of goods automatically. There's 2 softwares that'll do this. These are the URLs, marketman.com and crunchtime.com. And again, you want more detail on these, email me and I'll send you the detail. 2, you can predict item sales demand, okay? AI is going to learn your historical data, the day of the week, the volume of sales, all that kind of stuff. No more 86ing items and running out of guest favorites, minimizing over ordering and spoilage, all that kind of stuff. Paid ChatGPT. I'll talk to you in more detail about ChatGPT. There's a free version of Chat and there's a paid version. The free version will do a lot of things, and we're going to cover that. The paid version is the one that really learns your business over time. Okay, there's a software that alerts you for low stock and reduces waste. They're actually claiming 20 to 30% possible waste reduction in your restaurant. And the name of that platform is trackfoodwaste.com. Amazing stuff, right? Gosh, if all this was available so many years ago when I sold my restaurants, I can only imagine how much better and more efficient. I mean, we had a rock solid profit and we had rock solid efficiency and we had systems in place. But again, this was before there was AI. Let's talk about menu engineering, the second way that restaurants are using it to great advantage. Pain points here. Lost profit. I just talked about that. Shrinking margins equals lost profit. Generic item descriptions that don't sell. How many menus do you see either in your restaurant or you go out to dinner? It's like the chicken parmesan, the cheeseburger, the veal parm, whatever it is. These are just generic item descriptions and they don't sell. Poor pricing decisions. That leads to lost value for guests. And guests are going to go to the competition. If they think they're not getting value with these rising costs and you keep raising prices, at some point you can't continue to raise prices. The value to the guest is lost. You know, there's only so many places that can sell a $30 cheeseburger. You know where I'm going with this. So you don't want to send your guests to the competition. You want to nurture them, develop them, and keep them. All right. So that's just one way we could do it. So what's an AI win? Creative menu descriptions. Now, in my place, every one of my restaurants had really unique names like the Nachos Avalanche, the Chocolate Peanut Butter Blast, the Raspberry Cream Disaster. You can plug this into, you can ask ChatGPT, I sell blueberry pie. I want a hook, a dynamic name for this. And it'll instantly spit out a whole bunch of really cool names. And I guarantee you it'll attract more guest attention to your menu and it'll increase sales of the blueberry pie. Okay, that's ChatGPT. The free version will do that. Okay, you can test pricing and portions to maximize your profit. Wow, that's a powerful tool. There's a software called Menulytics.ai that'll do that. And then item profit analysis. I am a huge believer. The biggest needle mover that I specialize in my consulting practice is identifying lost menu profit. Now, everyone has a menu, and you'd be surprised at how many restaurants just have profits all over the place. They don't know what their biggest sellers are. Well, they probably know that. They don't know what their most profitable items are in every category. And they're losing many, many dollars in each category because lower profit items are stealing sales from higher profit items. You've heard me talk about this ad infinitum, right? I have a product myself called the Menu Profit Accelerator. It's in our Restaurant Academy. It's a total turnkey. You can do this. You can figure out your menu item profit and you can see where you're losing money every day. But of course, there's software that does that too. Okay, let's move on. The next thing is a bonus. Now, digital QR code menus are a thing. Now, if you've got a fine dining, white tablecloth, tuxedo waiter kind of place, you probably don't want QR codes on your tables or on your menus, do you? But if you've got a fast casual place or a family casual place or a food truck, then yes, a QR code increases speed at the table or over the counter. Guest convenience and speed is one of the biggest advantages. But again, the AI learns guest behavior and it'll show you what are your biggest sellers. It can do upselling and suggestive selling. It can do item pairing, which increases check averages. Isn't that amazing? And lastly, you can pay on the fly with your phone, either at the table, over the counter, or at the food truck. That's amazing. Now, I travel a lot and I use these QR code menus all the time, and I really appreciate it. Even if I'm in a sit down place, I still get the service where a really friendly person will bring my food and my drinks and they'll give me the hospitality piece, but they just sped up the service because I looked at the menu on my phone, I ordered it, I did some upselling. I said, oh, that cocktail goes great with my fish and chips. I was just traveling last week and it's like, it was all there on the QR code. It's like fish and chips. I love fish and chips. What goes with that? Tanqueray and tonic. Boom, done. Really wonderful person brought my food. We had a chit chat. It was nice. And I paid at the table and I was out of there. So that's just convenience. Two softwares do this, menutiger.com and menumagic.com. And again, one more time, the detail I can send you if you email me, roger@restaurantrockstars.com. Okay, let's talk about staff scheduling. Again, in my restaurants, the old school way, we had the paper schedules on the wall, in the kitchen and in the dining room. And the staff were constantly saying, can I have this day, once the schedule's posted, can I have this day off? Oh, I want to go to the beach. Oh, I want to do this. I want to do that. And it was a constant frustration for our leaders to keep changing the schedule. And optimal schedules are so important, right? Wouldn't it be amazing? Because inefficient scheduling just costs you so much more in labor costs, and it's wasted unproductive time, and it's frustrated managers and even the frustrated teams. So what are the wins? Okay, with AI, you can automate an optimal schedule based on the day of the week, based on historic information. It learns your data and it'll plug in the optimal schedule. All you have to do is make sure that you let people go when you don't need them anymore. But this schedule is going to stagger your people coming in. So on a Saturday night at 7:00, you've got an optimal number of hosts, but you didn't bring in 3 hosts at 5:30 when you open your doors for business. You get the idea. On the fly changes. It's amazing. The staff can actually trade their shifts with each other via the app or on their phones or tablets. Okay. And that saves the managers a tremendous hassle. I interviewed a bunch of restaurants, and these were major chains that I dined in Denver last week. And 2 of them almost told me verbatim that they had to, a week in advance, send their schedule into corporate to get approval on the schedule before they even released it to their team. And they had no idea what the traffic was going to be that week. They did their best guess. Okay, but now AI automates the whole process. So lower labor costs, happier managers, happier team. 2 softwares for this, hotschedules.com and shiftroll.com. Okay, let's talk about marketing, because marketing is a biggie. What are the current pain points? Are you a social media expert? Do you know what to post, when to post, what platforms to post on, and how often to post? Very few of us are really, got that dialed in. But there's software that does it for you. They create total campaigns. Okay, how about expensive experiments? Again, in all my clients that I've consulted with over the years, I asked them about their marketing strategy. Oh, we tried a radio commercial. It didn't work. Oh, we stopped using print ads because it wasn't trackable. We had no idea. I've seen so many restaurants spend thousands and thousands of dollars on marketing ideas that were a whim, were an experiment, and they had no idea if it was actually driving business, new business, repeat business. They had no idea if it was bringing people in the door, because no one walked in the door saying, hey, Roger, I heard your radio commercial, or I saw that ad in the paper. Okay. Thousands of dollars lost. Believe me, If you can't track your marketing idea and give yourself a 2x, a 5x, a 10x return, stop throwing money out the window. Okay. There's ways that you can avoid that. All right. Get an ROI and track your marketing. So what are the AI wins for marketing? Okay. Done for you social media campaigns. There's a company called promo.com. They'll do your social media campaign and they'll automate the whole process, and it's AI-ified. Okay. They will also create the rage right now, right? My kids have been on it for years. TikTok. Okay. TikTok are short form videos. Okay. Really quick with a hook at the beginning. They get your attention. They're compelling in a certain way, and they're far more effective than any other traditional advertising. So promo.com will also create short TikTok style videos. You take some photos, you shoot some B-roll in your restaurant just with a camera phone, and they will professionalize it and create these really powerful TikTok style videos, and they'll do the marketing campaign for you. This is what's happening today. It's awesome. Okay, there's also a platform called atlasnova.ai, and they will create a done-for-you marketing campaign, a trackable marketing campaign. So all these are recommended. Okay, let's talk about free ChatGPT versus paid ChatGPT. Now, ChatGPT is literally replacing Google. You know that term, Google it. Well, what happens when you Google something? You get a list of websites, okay? And then you got to do further research. Okay, you click on this one, you go down the rabbit hole. Oh, I'm going to go to the next one. You ask any question in ChatGPT and it literally has the answer in a millisecond, and it'll keep answering. It'll keep giving you more and more detail if you keep asking it deeper and deeper questions. It scours all the information that exists in the world, on the planet, in an instant, and it gives it to you. And the paid version is the one that really gets to know your business. And the more you use it, the more it learns about you. Okay. So that's pretty amazing. So you can do menu descriptions on free ChatGPT. Okay. I already talked about the menu descriptions. That's pretty powerful. You can create the social posts, of course. How about creating promotions and limited time offers? Okay, ChatGPT will do that for you. Standard operating procedures, checklists, pre-shift exercises were so important in all my restaurants. It'll give you all that stuff. It'll create a whole week worth of pre-shifts if you ask it. And then you decide, will this work in my place? Chances are you'll get some great ideas. Okay, let's talk about the paid version of Chat. It learns and recalls your business. The more you ask it, the more it learns, okay, with every single interaction, and that's very powerful. It'll analyze slow periods versus your sales to forecast future demand, okay? How about new recipes? I interviewed a local restaurant, and I asked the owner, how are you using it? His executive chef is creating new recipes, and it gets to know their menu, right? They load it in their existing menu, and many of those items are staples that the guests don't ever want to see taken off the menu, but they want new specials, higher profit weekend specials, limited time offers, all this kind of stuff. But cross-utilization is very important to this restaurant, as it should be in yours. They don't want to bring in a new ingredient or two that goes on one or two dishes. They want it to cover what they're using across their entire menu. So this gets to know their menu, okay? And she'll say, oh, can you give me a list of new chicken dishes using our existing ingredients? And it will give them a plate presentation photograph. It will give them the exact recipe. It will give them the prep and the cook notes for the cooks. It'll give them, the portion control standards. It'll give them the optimum pricing to give them an optimum food cost to all fall within their profit zone. How important is that, right? So that's what I learned a week or two ago, how they're using it, all right? New recipes, it's huge. It can tell you your best and worst sellers over time, so you can really streamline that menu. And most importantly, tracking food and labor costs, okay? AKA prime costs, okay? What really amazes me is the paid version of ChatGPT. My wife uses it all the time. She uses it to produce this podcast. She uses it for so many reasons. But whenever she asks it a question, she actually uses a voice version. It's voice activated. Well, like Siri, you press a button and you ask it a question, and then in a very pleasant voice, it gives you an answer in a millisecond. And it actually has a conversation with you. Like she's on the phone for 15 minutes the other night, and she keeps asking, and what about this? And what about this? Great question. And it'll give you the answer, and it'll keep giving you more and more detail, and it keeps as much detail as you want is available to you. So that's the paid version. How about we compare some examples, free versus paid, just to give you an idea of how you can use free versus paid. Stop losing money on labor and wasted ingredients in the kitchen. When hungry guests walk through your doors, they expect food that tastes homemade every single time. But making everything from scratch, it's eating your profits alive. That's where Ajinomoto Foods comes in. They've got a massive lineup of fast, easy to prep Asian products that look homemade and taste incredible. Perfect for your Lunar New Year menu. Classics like fried rice, gyoza, and shumai, and trendy fusion hits like kimchi chicken pot stickers. With over 100 years of Asian culinary expertise, Ajinomoto helps you save time, cut labor, and protect profits without ever compromising quality. Check them out at ajinomotofoodservice.com. Okay, let's talk about inventory. The free version, you can create that old school inventory template where you can load in all your menu items and it'll literally produce a spreadsheet for you, and then you can do it the old school way. The paid version actually integrates with your point of sale system. Okay, it relies on the purchase and sales data over time. That certainly helps. It spots trends and variances to help you stay in your sweet spot. All right, that's really big. Okay, let's dive a little bit deeper into marketing. Now, marketing was always near and dear to my heart. When I owned restaurants, I always wanted to stay on the cutting edge of marketing and really do things that the competition wasn't doing. Now, we always played our best game, but I always recommend that you know what your competition is up to. Guerrilla marketing really served me well. Creative ideas that you pulled out of the air that no one else would think of that really worked, and it drove ROI and it was trackable. Now, let's talk about the social media, because that is probably the number one way that restaurants are marketing today. And again, I ask, are you a social media expert? And very few of us are. So let's talk about the free version of ChatGPT and what it can do for social media. It can literally write 7 days of posts, social media posts for you. It can do a whole month's worth of posts. The paid version takes that to the whole nother level, okay? The paid version will analyze the best posts that you've done. It'll analyze it for clicks and conversions. So it'll test this ad versus that ad and say, don't even bother with that one because this is the one to do. This is the one to keep running because it's really getting lots of eyeballs and lots of clicks. Okay, let's talk about finances. Again, I was obsessed with profit. We talked a little bit about profit and shrinking margins earlier, and you really need to have a feel for your business and watch every penny come in and watch every penny go out, because cash flow is the lifeblood of your business. So the free version can suggest some general cost-cutting ideas. It'll scour the internet, how are restaurants saving costs today, and it'll probably give you some pretty good ideas. But the paid version, it'll dive deep into your P&Ls and your financial documents and whatnot. And it'll show you, it'll highlight your biggest revenue items. Where's all the money coming from? It'll also analyze your P&L for expense leaks, the spikes where this cost just rose huge or that one. And unless you're looking at P&Ls every day, who has time for that? This is automated. This will do it for you. Okay. What about AI best practices? Now, again, when I say best practices, there's millions of restaurants around the world, and we can learn from the best performers out there. Best practices, it's all available information, and AI can give you that. So what I suggest is start small. I gave you some information today on 4 different ways that it'll help your restaurant succeed. Why don't you prioritize? If any of those made sense to you, prioritize them. Which one is most important right now? Is it menu engineering? Is it inventory? Is it marketing? Is it scheduling? All of them might be important, but I recommend you don't try to do everything at once. And if you've got multiple locations in your restaurant or your food truck, roll it out in one restaurant first. Do you have a really dialed in operation? Maybe it's your headquarters. Maybe you got a dream team in one and you're just building the second one. Don't try to roll it out to more than one. So start with one process and procedure and one location. Use high quality data only. We all learned a long time ago with computers, garbage in, garbage out. And it is so true even with AI. But also, AI does make mistakes. So you definitely have to vet and follow up if you're skeptical about an answer you get. ChatGPT isn't foolproof. I don't want to give you the idea that it is, but in most cases, it's giving you really accurate information. But it's up to you to make sure that the data you use is high quality. Training your staff, again, a real passion point of mine. I was really into staff training and I worked with them just about every single day. And you can't train people too much. And if you've done so already and you've got a dream team, then this is just something new. But I don't need to tell you that chances are members of your team are resistant to change. They like things the way they are. They're used to doing things the way they are. And even if something is 100 times better, sometimes it takes some convincing. So start with your influencers. If you've got what I call the A team in your restaurant, start with one person that may be a mentor to other people and other people shadow them to like learn best practices. Get them on board first and then use them to help you roll out your program. So that's really important. I'm a huge believer in hospitality first. We never want to lose the human touch, the personal interaction with our guests. That is an art and a science unto itself. And again, something near and dear to me is that true passion for hospitality. Now, technology will do a lot for you, but you only want technology to enhance your hospitality, never detract from it. Okay, and then monitor performance and adjust. If you take any of the software that I've suggested, and if you start to use it, chances are you're going to get what they call a guest or customer success expert, a dedicated person that will work with you to onboard the software and help you get the most out of it in the shortest amount of time. But you need to communicate back and forth. And as soon as any little bugs show up or glitches, you need to optimize. You need to get rid of them right away, work with that success officer, and really get this stuff working as soon as possible. Because again, if things start to glitch and don't go the way you hope they will right away, chances are your team are going to dig in their heels and they're going to stop. And you don't want that to happen. Stop using it. Vet your options, okay? I've given you a lot of ideas on different platforms here that'll help you with these different key challenges in your restaurant. But again, reach out to me. I've mentioned this several times, but I'll send you the detailed list of the software with the metrics, the labor savings, the efficiencies, all that. But do your homework, interview users, reach out to these companies, get their free demonstrations. In many cases, there's a free demo where they'll walk you through something in 15 or 20 minutes, and it's well worth your time. And then compare pricing, of course. Again, the free version of ChatGPT does a lot. The paid version is really inexpensive. So maybe you as the owner or leaders gets 1 or 2 subscriptions. You can share this across your operation and you can do amazing things with the paid version of ChatGPT. Okay, so compare pricing because some of the software will have an onboarding fee and a monthly residual payment where they'll just hit your credit card every single month. But do your homework. So let's summarize really quick. Artificial intelligence or AI can increase profit and efficiency in your restaurant. It can increase guest and team satisfaction. How important is that? Reduce waste. Give your place a real competitive advantage and probably most importantly, help you stay relevant. How many restaurants can you think of that have been around for decades and then their customer base, their guests kind of aged out and they didn't keep up with younger generations coming up and suddenly a business that was in business? In the state of Massachusetts, there was a place called the Hilltop Steakhouse. It was the #1 grossing restaurant in the USA. For decades. I mean, this place was huge. It had like 500, 600 seats in it, and there were lines out the door, and every single day was busy. And then their guests aged out, and that is now a shopping mall. Okay, what a shame that is. And that's about staying relevant. So you want to stay relevant, especially with your team. If you've got Gen Z working there, they expect you to have the latest technology. When I was doing some research for this, a local restaurant, I walked into it. It's a 5-restaurant group. It's fine dining. It's owned by a James Beard award-winning chef and his partner. And it's the place to go. Like my wife and I will go there for an anniversary. And I walked in and the staff was really frustrated because I asked them, what AI are you using here? And the GM wasn't available. And they're like, well, we try to bring it up all the time. And the owner and the GM just said, nah, we're not interested. It's like, we love things the way they are. We don't want any change. And what a shame. What could they be doing so much better? Okay. They're not staying relevant with their team, certainly. But the guests love the place nonetheless. So if you're intrigued, I got some homework for you. Go to chatgpt.com and you don't have to pay for anything. And you'll see there's a query. What can I help you with today? And all you do is Type in a restaurant question or a pain point and see what it tells you. And then if it gives you enough detail, great. If you want a more detailed answer, ask it a more detailed question. But better yet, get the paid version so it starts to learn your business. Again, email me, Roger, R-O-G-E-R, at restaurantrockstars.com for the detailed list and the metrics. If this is helpful to you, I'm so glad because it's the here, it's the now, and it's the future. Thanks for listening. Can't wait to see you in the next episode. Your biggest challenges are labor and shrinking margins. Both kill your profit. I help restaurants find and fix those leaks. Last year, I uncovered over $300,000 in lost profit in 2 independent restaurants and $885,000 in a 5-location pizza chain. I specialize in controlling costs to maximize profit, training managers to become leaders, training front-of-house staff to sell, and marketing that drives trackable, new, and repeat business. If you want more profit, less hours, and a dream team staff in your restaurant, book a free 30-minute profit strategy session with me. Email Roger at restaurantrockstars.com. That's R-O-G-E-R at restaurantrockstars.com.
Thanks for listening to the Restaurant Rockstars Podcast. For lots of great resources, head over to restaurantrockstars.com. See you next time.